The moment you see their weight shift, that's when you attack their backhand. When amateur players struggle with their serve, they often blame their hand, but the real issue is usually a lack of proper kinetic chain engagement. This also applies when you're trying to lift backspin. You often wonder why the ball hits the net or why you can't get it over. It's because your center of gravity isn't low enough, which prevents your racket from getting low. Without getting your racket below the ball, you can't create the necessary friction to lift it. Take the hook serve, for example. When it lacks spin, you assume it's a hand issue. That's incorrect. The most crucial element in table tennis is the synergy of force from your entire body. A student once asked me why he couldn't generate force on his serve. It's because he had never truly felt what that synergy feels like. There are two types of force synergy in a serve. One is timing your contact with the falling ball, and the other is generating power from your body, using actions like stomping and lowering your center of gravity to integrate your arm with your body's motion. This involves progressing from a simple waist turn to a full body rotation with a low center of gravity. But many players have never experienced the power of this full body engagement. Once you start feeling this kinetic chain, you'll discover a new level to your game. Sometimes, when your body generates the force, the amount of spin you produce will surprise even yourself. That incredible spin comes directly from your body. Here are the three main differences between professional and amateur players. First, pros use their entire body to play, while amateurs primarily use their arm, so focus on emulating the pros. Second, pros emphasize footwork, while amateurs tend to stay flat-footed. This is why there's a huge gap between an amateur's training and match performance. Their technique breaks down as soon as they're forced to move. Third, pros prioritize strategic play and efficiency, whereas amateurs love to hit with full power, without considering which shot requires what amount of force or the correct technique. If you can improve your awareness and focus on control, your level will definitely increase. For instance, in a loop, a pro uses their whole body. As an amateur, you should at least avoid using only your arm. Even incorporating a little body rotation will make a huge difference. Today, let's focus on the concept of playing smart and efficient table tennis. Most issues arise from inefficient serve and attack and service returns. While you can rely on instinct and fundamentals and rallies, your serve and return game can be significantly improved through conscious thought and strategy. Some of you may feel your individual skills are solid, but you can't put them together in a match. This is usually because a specific fundamental is weak. For example, a passive push leads to a weak defense, and a low-quality service return means you're not ready for the next shot. In a serve and attack sequence, making errors when looping backspin prevents you from scoring. Frankly, the problem is that we rush to combine skills before mastering them individually. I've been coaching a young player for nearly a year and I never rush him into competitions. His fundamentals aren't solid yet, and I know his technique will fall apart under pressure, forcing me to waste time correcting it later. First, you must build a strong foundation. After that, combining skills becomes much faster. A few months in a competitive environment and he'll be ready, making any future adjustments much easier. Ultimately, it comes down to weak fundamentals, which cause your game to break down when you try to link shots or move. Have you ever had a great side spin serve that opponents easily return in a match? It's because you're only serving to one spot. I can serve all over the table, sometimes here, sometimes there, because most amateurs fail to vary their serve placement. We are too focused on making the opponent miss from a single, predictable serve. The true art of serving is deception through placement. A good long serve to the backhand is set up by a short serve to the forehand. To make your short forehand serve effective, you must threaten with a long backhand serve. These two placements work together. Otherwise, your opponent can stand still and treat your serve like a fixed-point drill, whereas a match is about forcing movement. A deep forehand serve is what makes your backhand serve down the line a threat. A short backhand serve is what makes your deep serve to the center a threat. My coach told me something profound: never let consecutive serves have the same placement and spin. First, you must open up your strategic thinking. Then, analyze your game. Do you win more points serving wide to the backhand? With a surprise long serve to the forehand? Or with a deep serve to the middle or a short side spin backspin serve? This is how you discover your most effective tactics. You need to identify which tactics and placements win you the most points. Your problem right now is that your long serves are strong, but your short serves are weak. This allows your opponent to anticipate your long serve while being careless with your short ones. If you practice your short serve with the same intensity as your long one, your opponent will fear your entire service game once the quality of all your placements, short, long, wide, is consistently high. If the quality of your backhand hook serve and your forehand hook serve is inconsistent, your opponent won't be intimidated. You must be able to execute every long serve placement with the same speed and spin, and every short serve with a low trajectory and precise control. Only then can you effectively move your opponent and set up your attack. Most amateurs lack serve quality. For example, you serve sidespin backspin, but the opponent can simply push it back, making your next shot very difficult to loop and forcing you into a passive pushing rally. Once you're in a pushing rally, it becomes a battle of fundamentals and touch, where a more experienced player will always have the advantage in rhythm. If you lose both points on your serve, you're down 0-2. After their serve, it's likely 0-4. It's incredibly difficult to win a game when you're down by 4 points. You can fight back from a 2-point deficit, but at 4 points down, you have an 80% chance of losing. At 6 points, it's virtually over. If you fail to gain the advantage on your own serves and don't start at least 1-1, you've lost the opening battle, and the game is likely lost. The rest is just damage control with a very low chance of winning. Your goal should be a short serve that the opponent can't get on top of and a long serve that jams them. An excellent service game means being able to deliver every placement and spin with equally high quality. If the quality is inconsistent, it's not a good serve. Third point, many players can't maintain focus. After hitting one high-quality shot, they relax, assuming the point is over, and they stop preparing for the next ball. When you attack, you must always be ready for a follow-up. For example, after my initial attack, I'm immediately preparing for the next shot. You must have the mindset of continuous attack, not just one shot and done. Many higher-level amateurs develop a bad habit of not recovering after a shot when playing weaker opponents. This causes their transitions to fail against stronger players. You must consciously practice your recovery. Right now, after you loop the ball, you just stand and watch. What you should be doing after your loop is preparing for the second ball. When they block it back, I am ready to attack again and again. That is how you improve your offensive capability. The common mindset for amateurs is, I must finish the point with this one powerful shot. But when attempting that power loop, you're not reading the situation. For example, if your opponent is already positioned on their backhand side, why would you loop to their backhand again? Watch their weight distribution. If they're still committed to their backhand, attack their forehand. The moment you see their weight shift, that's when you attack their backhand. If they are static, attack their forehand corner. If they push and their center of gravity moves toward the middle, you must attack their backhand. Too often, we just loop the ball with maximum power to the same spot. Instead of using 100% power to one spot, it's far more effective to use less power and change the placement. Sometimes the opponent has given up, but the ball hits their racket and comes back. It's like playing against a lob. Stop hitting the ball directly to your opponent. The same applies to the forehand side. When they push to your forehand, watch their movement. If you see them start to shift, a quick change of direction will catch them off guard. I didn't win that point with power. I won by outplacing him. You should be playing smart, using placement. Don't just mindlessly attack with power, which leads to too many unforced errors. This works if you have professional level consistency. But we know that slow anticipation and footwork are universal weaknesses for amateurs. Continuing to play with brute force is like knowingly running into a brick wall. During the demonstration I just gave, I was not using much power. I'm just reading him. If his weight is set, I attack his forehand, he's too slow. If his weight shifts, I attack the other side. When you develop this ability, you'll find it effortless to control your opponents. They'll think your attack is overwhelmingly powerful, but you'll know you're only using 50% of your power and winning with placement by exploiting the typical amateur weaknesses: anticipation and footwork. Second point, you, and many amateurs, have a tendency to give up on a point mentally. The moment the return isn't what you expected, you become passive and stop trying. Even professionals face many awkward shots. For instance, I might be preparing to step around for a forehand, but my opponent executes a short push, forcing me to desperately lunge forward to adjust. I might not reach the ball, but I must not give up. I have to make a secondary adjustment immediately. If I see it's short, I move in. If I was moving in and see it's long, I must quickly move back. I might be late, but I can't give up on the point. Because one day, through this effort, I will be fast enough. In reality, most of the balls you receive in a match will be awkward and uncomfortable. These difficult shots are the norm in a real game. Comfortable, easy balls are the exception. Easy shots are a rare occurrence. You should expect difficult balls, especially when playing someone at your level. Against a much weaker opponent, you will get more easy balls. So, the first rule is to fight for every single ball. The second issue is that you commit to your shot before you've properly read the ball. For example, you anticipate a ball to your backhand and start your backswing, but instead, the opponent serves to the center. As a result, you edge the ball. Or you prepare for a backhand return, but the serve goes wide off the side. You anticipate a forehand and start moving, but you don't know the exact placement, leading to jammed shots or bad contact. Here's the problem. When receiving serve, many amateurs start their backswing as soon as the opponent serves. This locks you in, and you can't adjust if the placement is slightly different. The correct sequence is: body and feet move first, backswing last. For a wide serve, for instance, I move my body and get my center of gravity in place first, and only then do I execute my backswing. This way, I am always on time. The backswing is the fastest part of the motion. The common amateur mistake is to initiate the backswing first, which immobilizes your feet. You can only hit the ball if it happens to come right to you, otherwise, you'll miss. Therefore, you must keep your racket in front of you and move with your feet and body first. You have plenty of time to start your backswing after you are in position. Most of you do the opposite. You preemptively pull your arm back because you guess where the ball is going, and then you misjudge the contact point. As long as you read the placement correctly first, you have time to react, even to a tricky, breaking serve. You only feel rushed because you're starting your swing too early. On your service return, if you can focus on identifying the placement before you swing, your consistency will skyrocket. I always make sure I've read the ball before I commit to my shot. Whether it's wide or down the middle, I am never rushed because I always adjust my position with my feet first, and then I begin my swing. The process is: adjust position, then swing. It is always fast enough. Your mistake is guessing the location and starting the swing first, which locks your body in place. Watch my demonstration: ready position, adjust with feet, then swing. My arm only starts the backswing as my body is moving into position. Adjust with feet, it's always this sequence. The reason your topspin shots are more consistent than your backspin loops is because you aren't getting low enough to brush under the ball. As the ball is landing on the table, my racket is still in my ready position. I have plenty of time to start my backswing after I hear the sound of the ball hitting the table. I only begin my backswing after I hear that thud of the ball on the table. Your current habit is to guess the location and start swinging as soon as the ball leaves the server's racket, leading to poor timing. Once your backswing has started, you can't make major adjustments. You only have time for one continuous motion. You cannot start your swing before you have even read the ball. This is especially critical against sidespin serves, which are more deceptive and will punish this bad habit even more. The same principle applies to your serve and attack. You anticipate a long return and immediately start your backswing. The correct approach is to get your body into position first, and only then should your arm execute the shot. You are rushing to swing before you've even seen how your opponent returned the ball or where it's going. This is a fundamental problem of inefficiency. Get your body, arm, and feet into position first, then execute your backswing. You have enough time. If you start your backswing too early, your feet get stuck, you can't adjust your balance, and your racket angle is locked. You absolutely must fix this habit if you want to become a high-level amateur player.